And then, of course, the Dallas Burn, used to play their games. FC Dallas typically call home Toyota down the road in Frisco. Jesus Ferreira coming off of a dozen goals and 6 assists in 2023, a group that statistically was one of the best defensive sides in Major League Soccer, but scoring was their issue. But that man right there, Luis Suarez, has had no scoring at every single stop that he's made, coming over on a free transfer from Grêmio in the first division in Brazil. And this FC Dallas group rolling out a 3-4-3, something we are not used to seeing from Nico Esteves. So maybe a wrinkle tactically for this Dallas group that really struggled on the attacking side of the ball, despite a group that more or less stayed the same from 2022 to 2023, but just having some problems with some injuries, some guys not producing at the level that they're used to. Good look at Nkosi Tafari there, as he was with the U.S. men's national team during their January camp, and of course that 1-0 loss against Slovenia on Saturday. Inter Miami head straight to Saudi Arabia following this matchup with FC Dallas, and will continue their tour of the globe here in preseason 2024 as Remy Touchon, our head referee, gets us underway from the historic Cotton Bowl. Turn off the world and turn on the game. It's a preseason friendly from the Lone Star State. Tyler Terrans along with Devin Kerr. It is Inter Miami and FC Dallas, and we are so thrilled that you're able to join us here on MLSsoccer.com. Inter Miami, of course, coming off of a 0-0 draw against El Salvador. Devin, what are some of the bigger things that stood out to you in that draw just a couple of days ago?
Complacency. It just felt like everybody was going for a walk in the park, right? And for a team that everything that we heard from a fitness standpoint seemed to be at the top of their game, they looked a little bit sluggish. Now travel's going to come into play, change of venue, change of location. I want to see a team with a bit more intensity tonight, even with the changes. And FC Dallas, it's a new look of sorts. So we talked about the tactical changes. Can they maximize themselves going forward? And how quickly do they feel like they become the confident ones? That's with everything that Nico Esteves brought to our conversations. We need to be more confident going forward, and we need to produce numbers up top.
Lionel Messi getting on the ball for the first time today, and trying to thread the needle for Julian Gressel, who of course came over from the Columbus Crew after a tumultuous 12 months just in terms of where he was living in North America. Went from Vancouver to Columbus and then to South Florida, all in the span of about 11 or 12 months. And for Luis Suarez, given away though, as FC Dallas will try to implement this back three against this star-studded Herring group. David Ruiz was one of the young bright spots for Inter Miami last year. Of course, all of the World Cup winning veterans that are Messi, Busquets, Alba, Suarez are going to get most of the headlines, but the performances from the likes of Noah Allen, David Ruiz, Benjamin Cremaschi really allowed Inter Miami to play that they want to. Are a big reason for their Leagues Cup trophy as well. Fell in the final to the Houston Dynamo of the U.S. Open Cup. Failed to make the postseason, which was one of the big things that Luis Suarez said was attractive to him, and heading over to Inter Miami from Grêmio, trying to help this group win MLS Cup for the first time in franchise history. Only a few years old, Inter Miami. And here's Paul Arriola for the first time this evening, threading it through for Jesus Ferreira, getting an early look at goal, and Jesus Ferreira buries it. The first time that we've seen FC Dallas on the ball, and it's their main man and number 10, Jesus Ferreira, who punishes the Inter Miami back line. It's 1-0.
Right out of the gate, positive football. From the turnover in the midfield, watch the first touch from Liam Frazier. This is everything. On the quick little touch, finding a way to get Jesus Ferreira more involved. Now, don't expect to see him as advanced up high by his lonesome, but as he dropped, so did Eugene Ansah, and they brought runners with him, so more space opens up. Noah Allen gets very aggressive, which you will see off this back line for Inter Miami. But Ferreira just steps in behind, clean touch in front of him, which allows him to pick out this bottom corner. Kristoff could not slide over quick enough. Dallas, beautiful on the counterattack.
Mighty impressive from Jesus Ferreira, who had the presence of mind and the dexterity to be able to fend off Noah Allen and then get the shot away. Yes, 12 goals and 6 assists does sound like a good haul for most strikers in Major League Soccer, but he was coming off of a year in 2022 where he scored 18 goals and 6 assists in just 29 starts. And if you took a look at the chances and the XG for Jesus Ferreira last year, and of course a lot of fans and people surrounding the FC Dallas organization weren't particularly thrilled with the production rate from Ferreira, or really everybody who's playing in the attacking third for Nico Estevez' side. But have to imagine that Ferreira's going to have a massive 2024. And of course finished as the leading goal scorer for the U.S. men's national team. Of course, getting a lot of his work done against mostly Caribbean sides, and he's earned himself a couple of fun nicknames as a result of that.
And there's no surprise whatsoever that a ton is put on his shoulders, right? We understand that there's a tremendous amount of talent for Jesus Ferreira, but so many times last season that there was too much emphasis on the 9 spot, and for him to do it by his lonesome.
Arriola dinks it over the top. A little bit awkward here for Allen, but he'll just see it out of play.
That does play into the hands of Nico Estevez in terms of how he's going to change this team tactically, because remember, it's not just finding a way to get Jesus Ferreira more involved, it's the absence of Alan Velasco, who went down with the knee injury against Seattle Sounders, that opening round game of MLS playoffs in 2023. So finding a way to not only build more together, but as they advance forward, not having these 1 or 2 players trying to carry the burden attacking-wise for this squad. They want to build 3 and 2, carry the 3 on the back line, 2 holding midfielders, and then be very aggressive on the outside. We've already seen that just 5 minutes in. Nico Estevez right now basically wants to say, shut it down, the game's over. I'm happy with everything that has gone on, because to a T, Tyler, the exact conversation that we had is exactly how it's played out on the field so far. No points for only 5 minutes of play, though, still.
Particularly in a preseason game, as Jordi Alba making that delayed run from the left back position. We saw him do that so many times over the course of his career, but particularly with Inter Miami when he came over during the summer in 2023. Messi just helping it along for Noah Allen. Allen will creep forward from that left center back position as well, operating in the back 3 for Tata Martino.
A lot of question marks the other night on just the ability defensively to close space down. Tomas Aviles was the center of the back 3, and already you can see on the right-hand side a lot more aggression, not just from Noah Allen, but coming off the back line. And I would expect that from them this season. You know, we discussed the numbers going forward for FC Dallas, but Inter Miami, they're looking the same thing. Tata Martino, and you know, if I play in a 4, if I play in a 3, given the guys on the defensive shape the luxury to come off, to be aggressive, to get involved in the attack, because it's going to free up more space. More importantly, it makes the team in front of you defensively challenge themselves. They have to make a decision. Who's staying, who's going. More opportunities for the guys up top.
Messi whips it in, awkward for Pass, on the line, bouncing around, still not through. And somehow Martin Paas, the 26-year-old from the Netherlands, comes away unscathed after the corner from Messi had eyes for goal.
Olympico 8 minutes in, why not? Almost does. I mean, the brilliance of Messi sees Paas cheating a little bit on the backside, and then a misstep to the front. Good recovery, though, by the goalkeeper. Sets himself, squares the ball back up, and then immediate reaction. Coming into 2023, Nico Estevez very direct about the fact that they were attacking the XG against, and how they needed to be better defensively. Well, they certainly did that. 3rd best defensive unit in all of Major League Soccer in terms of goals against. A level of consistency that was very difficult to break down. You and I, Tyler, had the opportunity multiple times last season to witness it firsthand.
And we saw the progression over the course of the season as well, right? There weren't a ton of clean sheets at the start, and they were struggling a little bit, but as the season went on, the more and more resilient they became. And a big part of that as well, and we'll continue to talk about, is Nkosi Tafari and how much he progressed over the course of the season and really allowed this FC Dallas side to become one of the bigger stalwart names in the Western Conference and in all of MLS for that matter. Paul Arriola chasing, and it pays dividends. Dallas, of course, fell to the Seattle Sounders in the MLS Cup postseason in the first round. pushing the game to three games in the series after dropping the first one, winning the second. And of course, that was the series in which Alan Velasco tore his ACL, as David Ruiz holding on to his head and making sure that he's all right. Sebastian Ibiaga, the 32-year-old from Warri, Nigeria, came up for the Houston Dynamo Academy, played his college soccer at Duke. Turned 32 years of age, Ibiaga, just yesterday. And now here's the age-old argument: who's on the set piece, Julian Gressel or Lionel Messi?
What a cheat code.
Crowd, of course, just a little bit more eager, a little bit more in tune with what's going on with number 10's on the ball. Suarez trying to peel it back for Ristov. And it's out of play for another Miami corner.
Clever little ball through and a beautiful run on the diag from Luis Suarez, just coming off the back line. You know, spacing-wise, this is where they're really going to be tested, FC Dallas, because as you get high, so many numbers forward for Inter Miami. Where are you tracking from? Have to be cognizant of the wide position, so much space available, and Suarez recognizes that, just steps right in. Almost pays dividends. Helped along, and it will be a goal kick for FC Dallas. Fair to say that Inter Miami's probably the only side of Major League Soccer where Julian Gressel would go and not be the #1 choice on a dead ball. All of a sudden, the work after training just got a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Joke is never going to win that argument. It doesn't matter how late you stay. That's the luxury, though, that they have now, right? I mean, all of a sudden, and talked a little bit about this during the El Salvador game, Tyler. It's no longer, what is this team going to be? You have a good idea of what they could be now. Right now it's, okay, what are we chasing here, chasing there? We've got attacking options. You know, it's going to come down to how many competitions they have to face, you know, the influx of games, and health paired with international duty. Those are the three biggest things, because talent's not a concern anymore. Now, to be fair, the work had already started prior, and give Phil Neville some credit. Obviously, Chris Henderson in the front office and what they were able to do. The youth that has come up through this great academy system. You mentioned a couple of them. Kromoski not on the field tonight, but they've done so well for themselves. And then you've got world-class stars to complement.
Messi, who started this whole move, ends up getting smothered by Pass in the end. Trying to play out of pressure. Fizzed in. Opportunity for Messi, and a big save from Martin Pass. Got a hand to it. Messi's first real look at goal. And the Dutchman is up to the task.
This pressure actually started from Noah Allen coming off the back line to remove the ability of FC Dallas to cleanly play out. And with the turnover in the midfield, just how quick they are in execution. Busquets just slices right through the entire back line. Liam Frazier looks like he's out of position. He's not. He's dropping back to help because Ibiaga had come so far wide with all that space available to Messi. Incredible save to the bottom corner by the goalkeeper.
Another corner from Messi. Pass again. Called into action. And that ball from Busquets, that's the IQ that simply is just not going to show up on the stat sheet, where he knows that if the ball is given away, where his first option is going to be. It wasn't a touch or anything that needed to happen extra. One ball in, and we're off to the races. This takes a deflection and finds Suarez. Attempted to peel it back. Another deflection, another Miami corner. And Miami really starting to put the clamps down on Dallas after they scored the opening goal through Jesus Ferreira in the first few minutes.
David Ruiz coming out of the midfield. He's really challenging the right side of this back line, which, as Ibiaga is going, 2 consecutive movements by the visitors, that has opened up that space. We saw Messi in there, and now Luis Suarez. That's a conversation. If you're staying or going, they have to be better on this back three.
U.S. international DeAndre Yedlin. Ball is a dangerous one, but Paas has it covered the entire way. Jordi Alba scampering forward. First time delivery intended for Suarez. Messi sees the diagonal ball again. It's a beautiful ball. Suarez got it on the first time.
This could be an absolute mockery if this growth and development continues for Inter Miami. Beautiful vision, utter class here by David Ruiz to take this thing down. Selfishly could have tried to take it off the right foot. A difficult move, but beautiful ball back across.
Ruiz again going for goal on the wrong side of the post, and certainly caught the interest of those who have traveled to the Cotton Bowl tonight.
I get it. It's the second preseason game, the first for FC Dallas, but you know, if we're talking about Inter Miami and their growth, already a massive change with the midfield tonight. One thing they were really lacking the other night was the comfortability of the two in front of Sergio Busquets, and you know, Gregore getting him that high. We're so accustomed to seeing him as that deep role, that single pivot. Even when they played in the 4-2-3-1 at times, they always played through him or off of him. They didn't play around, or they didn't find a way to get him up top. Understandably so, he had to sit that deep. But now with Busquets in there, and as regular as he is, you have that luxury. These players have to feel comfortable coming out of the midfield. The youngster, David Ruiz, almost 20 years of age, at least he will be in about a week's and a half time, doing some really brilliant things just 15 minutes into this match. You ever heard that before? You're doing some brilliant things 15 minutes into a match?
Yeah, but then everything stops after those 15 minutes.
Stop, please.
Aviles almost got caught with it, with Jesus Ferreira trying to nip an easy one. Busquets striding forward. Yedlin was making a clever run through the heart of the FC Dallas defense. Instead it finds Aviles, who slips on the slick terrain here at the Cotton Bowl. Paulo Arriola with the assist on the Jesus Ferreira goal. And if you're just watching from the 4th minute on through the 17th, you're sort of wondering, how did Dallas get an opportunity? They really have only been on the ball in clean consecutive fashion once, and it resulted in a goal.
Commentator's curse.
Here's the second time, broken up by Aviles. Well, the curse all depends on which side of the ball you're rooting for, right?
Of course,
if it's
of course.
FC Dallas, it's a good thing.
Let it burn.
It's a blessing. I knew there was going to be a Dallas burn joke at some point today. I just didn't know when it was coming.
Dad of 3. What do you want from me? 4 if you include you.
Well, it's a new season. Hopefully we can get rid of some old habits. Messi. Thought he had Jordi Alba for a moment. And they'll restart with Drake Callender, the 26-year-old keeper from Sacramento, California, who really had his coming out party last year. And he had made some big saves and gotten some people's attention, even in 2022. But some of the things that he was able to do, especially when Miami were at their most vulnerable, at the beginning of the summer, late spring, when they were waiting for Messi, Busquets, and Alba to come in. They had tons of injuries, Gregore, Mota, Negri, the like. And there were a few games where he truly stood on his head and kept it from getting truly ugly. Ruiz. Suarez. And Messi. Still trying to get on the same page as 2023 MLS Cup winner Julian Gressel came over from the Crew. And driving forward with real purpose was Dante Sealy. And Remy Touchon is going to issue his first yellow card of the evening, and it's in the direction of Tomas Aviles.
It's a smart move by Dante Sealy, though. That touch right there, cutting back across the trailing path of Tomas Aviles. He recognized the supporting cast over his left shoulder just a little bit slow. He had a ton of space up through Route 1. I would imagine that Dante Sealy is, at least at this point in time, trying to work his way into first choice conversation. Of course, last season, Marco Farfan on the left-hand side for FC Dallas.
Here's the goal scorer, Ferreira. Good-looking ball in the initial header from Ibeagha. Almost allowed Tafari to get there. And opening weekend for Major League Soccer is the earliest kickoff in MLS history. February 21st. And of course, it is going to feature Inter Miami and Real Salt Lake, February 21st. All games airing on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. And of course, the rest of the slate will get going right around February 24th, 25th. Over under 4 neon balls that are going to have to use opening weekend because of some snow.
I'm going to think positive. I'm going to say under.
Under?
Under.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that.
Fog got any done, so we might need one tonight.
Alba getting forward again. Suarez was asking for it. Gressel. Is nipped from behind by Liam Fraser, the 25-year-old from Toronto. There is one familiar face on the side of FC Dallas who the Barca boys have seen before, and that's Asier Yaramendi. We'll get to that in just a moment as DeAndre Yedlin was played in. Ball intended for Suarez picked off, and then Yaramendi goes to ground and gets out of trouble in neat fashion. Yaramendi, 33 years old, of course originally from Spain, won a Champions League with Real Madrid, a injury-riddled stint with Real Madrid from 2013 to 2015. Last time he took on the likes of Suarez, Messi, Busquets, and Alba. You have to go all the way back to 2019, where he finished up his La Liga career with Real Sociedad. Yaramendi quietly when he came to FC Dallas. One of the more controlling, calming presences in Western Conference, if not of all the Major League Soccer. And of course, it makes sense.
I was just going to say, especially as the season went on, right? We saw him early when he came in, and it just seemed a little bit uncomfortable. But as the games ticked by, his level of quality just operating within the midfield, so clean, allowing this team to try and really find their identity defensively. Did that. Now the idea is going to be stretching the other direction. They're having a rough go of it right now. Inter Miami doing an incredible job. As you see all the players in the midfield of stretching this team so wide. So the midfield flattens out, gives Inter Miami more options in terms of depth. So they can play off of each other. They get this midfield line of 4 for Dallas as you try and spring going forward. The idea for Nico Estevez is to convolute the middle. More players on the inside to bounce off of each other. But because they're so flat, having difficult when they do actually get on the ball is coming the other direction.
This one will be brought back by Remy Touchon. Now committed on Sergio Busquets. Right in the heart of the midfield.
Love the color scheme on the horn, right?
See a Boca Juniors mask in there as well.
Love a good game of hide and seek in the orchestra section.
Well, it's tough to play the trumpet with a mask on as well.
You seem more of a woods guy anyway, right? Like clarinet, saxophone.
Like a triangle.
Fair, fair. More cowbell.
Messi curling one in. Gressel on the first time. Sat up nicely for him for just a second or two as we are knocking on the door of the 26th minute. It's the second preseason game for Inter Miami amidst their world tour before the MLS season kicks off on February 21st. Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr live from the Cotton Bowl, the old home of FC Dallas and the Dallas Burn. Have to go all the way back to 2004, 2005 to remember those days. And of course, a rich soccer history on the international stage here in Dallas, where the Cotton Bowl was host to a slew of group stage games in the 1994 World Cup, including a round of 16 and quarterfinal match. The quarterfinal match featured Brazil and the Netherlands, a 3-2 thriller, of course, that wound up in favor of the Brazilians. Messi trying to pick out Alba. Picked up the loose ball, shouts for a penalty. Rebe Touchon not interested. And this being a preseason game, VAR not in effect tonight. And fun fact, Devin Kerr, Diego Maradona was actually supposed to play here at the Cotton Bowl for Argentina's final group stage game of that World Cup. But of course, it was the infamous match in which he was suspended after testing positive following their game against Nigeria, so he missed out on that game.
Fortunately for Argentina, they had a little guy by the name of Batistuta that was able to run rampant up top.
Bonus points if you can tell me who was able to knock Argentina out of that World Cup.
Nigeria?
Romania.
Oh, Yorgi Haji. Absolutely.
Suarez. Boy, that was perched up nicely for Messi. They're starting to click again, the old friends.
The movements really are incredible on this front line for Inter Miami. Once again, watch this quick little diagonal for Luis Suarez. Picks it up on his own. Just being in the space is the biggest thing for them. It's totally different than 2023. Knows exactly where his former running mate is going to be.
Awkward ball here. Arriola able to put some pressure on. Ferreira has a runner with him. It's Ansah. Ferreira asking for it back, and the delivery is a ways away from anybody in a white kit. And it looked like Arriola went into that challenge with a bit of a high boot and showing some studs, and that's why Sergei Ristov is slow to get up.
Also been, what, close to 20-something minutes since they've advanced themselves this high, FC Dallas. And they're working through things. This is certainly going to be a marathon. The home squad this season, defensively, one would imagine no real question marks. Although if you ask Nico Estevez, on his wish list right now, like another central defender. Miami could make the argument on the left side of that back line as well, if you believe the rumors. One Nicolas Freire from Pumas could be headed to South Beach.
That's a scary proposition if they're able to land him, and that becomes official.
You know, watching that Pumas team en route to the 2022 now CONCACAF Champions Cup title game against the Seattle Sounders. Of course, the Sounders ran away with it that night. Freire was one of the more impressive ones on that squad. Just his ability to hold down a back line on the left side, his distribution, very aggressive in nature. It also gives you more depth behind Jordi Alba with Noah Allen there. Speculating, of course.
If you're believing everything that Tom Bogert is writing, yes.
Still think he's got a ghostwriter.
There's something that's not right there, whether it's his overall being, his mustache. Hit it. Yaramendi. Punched over the bar by Drake Callender.
Love the commitment from Nasir Yaramendi coming out of the midfield here. And we talked about defensively how they were stretched quite thin. So as you start to push, why not? Nobody willing to step up in. Half-hearted effort from Noah Allen coming off the back line. Just clean little cut back across. Sergio Busquets, he's locking down that central location. He can't drift over quick enough. Very smart from the Spaniard.
Ensuing corner from Dallas. Trying to change the angle of delivery for Ferreira. Yedlin couldn't retain possession. Herbert Endeley, Indiana University product. Ferreira. Ansa couldn't get out of the way. The ball was intended for him. And speaking of the transfer rumor mill, which is always in full swing this time of year, plenty of rumors circulating that FC Dallas are in the market for a number 9 of the DP variety. And they've been linked to a Croatian striker by the name of Petar Musa. But of course, this all speculation and nothing written in stone just yet. But you just get the feeling that if they can find somebody to complement the likes of Jesus Ferreira in a more advanced role and can really be a point number 9 for this group, then they're really going to challenge for the top of the Western Conference Summit.
And not difficult to say that that's got to be the main argument for this team, right? The help up top in the 9 spot, and really the 9 spot in general, especially.
But how often are we saying that about a lot of MLS teams who are right on the cusp of either being a playoff team?
But how many ever find it?
Yep.
That's the thing, is, right? You know, scouting is one thing. You know,
and that was the thing that Nico Estevez told us as well, is that it's not necessarily that they don't have quality number 9s. There's quality in the players that they have. It's just not the profile that they need for his specific needs and wants within his system.
They had to change so much last year. He was very keen to point that out to us, that, okay, they finished 3rd in 2022. They weren't the same team defensively in 23. That definitely changed, but numerically it was actually quite similar, almost to a T, the amount of goals that were given up over a 34-game season. But going forward, the players there, they just needed a different profile. You go with an overall number 9, somebody to play off of, somebody to stretch the game. That's what they're looking for.
Arriola looking for Eugene Ansa, and a gut-busting run from Noah Allen, going stride for stride with the 29-year-old from Accra, Ghana. Got a touch to it and got the goal kick as well.
You know that you can get it from the players underneath, but they're the guys that you want involved in the build-up more. They were too isolated last year in 2023, and so, yeah, maybe they go get someone in the transfer market. They need to. And then, you know, does lightning strike twice in terms of the MLS Super Draft? We saw the success of Duncan McGuire coming out of Creighton, and what was one of the more impressive rookie campaigns for Orlando City, certainly at the 9 spot. Can he do it as the number 1 this year? Who knows? They did draft Logan Farrington, who could hopefully provide them some depth up top at the 9.
We should be seeing the likes of Farrington amidst a slew of changes for FC Dallas in the second half. Messi shaping another one out. This time it's Alba who's his target, and Herbert Endeley just needed to be sure, but he gets bailed out by the offside flag, which is up on the near side.
Great track, though. Really well done by Herbert Endeley to come all the way back, even though the ball Played through is brilliant. Just watch the top of your screen. Leaves a bit early here. Jordi Alba. That gives you an idea of the speed, though, that even with a 2.5, 3 yard cushion, the Hoosier are able to track all the way back and get the best of it.
We have a couple substitutions here as Ensa Balang and Diego Garcia are going to come on. Garcia just 17 years of age, originally from Denver. And Siki Ensa Balang, a 25-year-old from Johannesburg, South Africa. And it's Yaramendi and Paul Ariola who make way for the 2 first substitutions of the evening. Looked like a yellow card was distributed amongst some of that tomfoolery as well. Junka, dangerous ball as Suarez was trying to poach an easy one to level the score as we are knocking on the door of halftime. Just 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Jesus Ferreira with the lone goal, but outside of that one chance for FC Dallas, it's been few and far in between for Nico Esteves' group, and a lot of Inter Miami. And some decent combinations, slowly but surely starting to find a groove. Recapturing that match fitness and overall synergy. Of course, isn't expected to be at full force until somewhere around April or May, let's say. And that errant pass will result in a corner for the home side. Suarez got there first. Getting stuck in was Diego Garcia. And the 17-year-old will poke it back out wide. Busquets was trying to clean things up with the help of Julian Gressel. And Dante Sealy, the 20-year-old from Brooklyn, able to keep possession for this FC Dallas group, who finished 7th in the Western Conference last year. And Ferreira and Herbert Endeley not exactly on the same page. And Devin, this a few steps up from what we saw from Inter Miami after their 0-0 draw against El Salvador.
Different level of a hotel. It's not even a couple of steps. This is going from the lobby to floor 10 or 12. Of course, they want to live in the penthouse, but it takes some time.
Don't we all?
It's cleaner on the ball. Better ideas moving forward. Better rotation overall. Defensively, they've been more sound. I'd say even more so is that because of their ability to play this game on their own terms. They stretch the shape of FC Dallas. It allows them to retain more possession. Beautiful crossing patterns.
Busquets had a couple of different runs being made by Suarez, and DeAndre Yedlin only finds the feet of Martin Paz. Endeley. A clever and swift run forward, and it results in a foul from Inter Miami. And the yellow card as well for Julian Gressel.
It's a brilliant move from the winger from FC Dallas on the outside, just recognizing that you've gotten a little bit deep. Inter Miami, their defensive shape, tons of space to step into. Deeper lying, a little bit on the outside, challenging to the interior, something that Endley did such a good job at the collegiate level. Hoping that success follows him here.
Ferreira's delivery, overcooked and out of play. Meanwhile, Jesus Ferreira goes down, and some groans from the FC Dallas faithful who have made their way to the Cotton Bowl tonight, as that's the last person you want to see go down, especially so early on in the season. Of course, Inter Miami fans had to watch Facundo Farias go down with a season-ending ACL injury down in El Salvador this past weekend. And outside of gaining match fitness and starting to work on some patterns, cohesiveness along the back line, the biggest thing you want after every single friendly is to escape without any injuries. And of course, they're not going to take any risks in a preseason game, no matter who's on the other side of the ball. And immediately Ferreira is going to come off. Kosi Tafara is going to get the captain's armband. And the goal scorer on the night got his work done inside of the first 5 minutes, Devin Kerr.
Brilliantly done within the midfield. A little touch by Aramendi, Liam Frazier. The compliment. Excellent ball coming back forward, and then much of what we've seen from the attacking side of Inter Miami, a beautiful diagonal by Jesus Ferreira that allows him to just pick his head up, clean touch, and then down into the bottom corner. You do hope that this is just precautionary. Similar movement towards the end of the game for Inter Miami at El Salvador that saw Facundo Farias, his 2024 campaign cut short. Injury, ACL.
Miami's next contest is going to be over in Saudi Arabia against Al Hilal. They'll leave directly following the match tonight, and the game, of course, will be on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. 1 o'clock Eastern Time kickoff on January 29th, a week from tonight. Garcia gives the ball away. Ruiz trying to find the feet of Suarez on the first time, but unsuccessful in doing so, and Miami will recycle. Miami's opening game for Major League Soccer's regular season will be against Real Salt Lake on February 21st. And they will play a to-be-determined opponent in the round of 16 of CONCACAF Champions Cup. Earning a bye in the first round after winning Leagues Cup in 2023, the first trophy that Messi was able to hoist here in North America. Little 1-2 between he and Suarez. Busquets on the second ball. Messi, beautiful ball for Suarez on the first time. You're starting to see little by little the understanding between these two is not exactly human.
The weight of this ball is absolutely brilliant from Messi. Timing of the run, gets almost everything correct here, and just that last little piece. Technique's not bad, just a bit ahead of it from Luis Suarez. It's also nearly impossible to take this thing out of the air off your right foot, moving away from the ball, redirect at the other corner. Absolute joke of a ball. Up over the FC Dallas back line.
If it was against Norwich, he would have scored it.
Shades of the 5-4, like it was yesterday. He's having this discussion the other night. It's still so difficult for me to believe that it was a decade ago that he left Liverpool.
Sold for north of 80 million. Heading from Liverpool to Barcelona. Krzysztof. David Ruiz stays with it, attempting to find DeAndre Yedlin, who was making a run from the right wing back position across the heart of the penalty area.
Dallas had to check themselves again because tactically the beautiful little change that was as Busquets came deeper, quickly turned it into a forward, allowed Yedlin to get much higher up and then start to crash the party right at the top of the 6.
Is a design set piece that was read the entire way. Tiki Insabalang was making sure that Messi couldn't tee that up. And collected by Martin Paes off the delivery from Tomas Aviles. Paes has had 2 big moments in goal tonight. One was denying Lionel Messi in a 1v1 situation. He was able to get an outstretched left paw to it. Another was preventing Lionel Messi from scoring in Olympico. Busquets for Messi. And that will do it for the first half from the Cotton Bowl. Jesus Ferreira, who just subbed off a few minutes ago with the lone goal inside of the first 5 minutes. Certainly some flashes of brilliance from Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi, and the like. Devin Kerr, your thoughts on the first half?
The good news for Inter Miami is it's very different than what we saw against El Salvador. A ton of ideas moving forward. Better rotation, cleaner on the ball, and certainly more scoring opportunities. They will come. You can already see the progression for this team on the attacking side. FC Dallas, they did a ton of defending, but much like we saw over the past 2 years, they were resilient and they were resolute given the limited opportunities that they had, scoring inside 10 minutes, had to sit back and defend a ton, but still got out of here with the lead.
Still waiting.